Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hey.
1, 2, 3. Hey.
Hey again from the internet.
I'm still sick.
Oh, you're still sick.
I'm still a little
Poor
sick.
baby Charlotte. She's not feeling great.
I don't feel so good.
Okay, let's see how that sounded. Hi, Charlotte.
Madeline, hello.
We're back.
Ugh, I'm so frustrated. I hate being sick. I get so annoyed when I'm sick.
There is truly nothing worse than being in between sick, where you're like too sick to want to do, like you can't do in person, but then also not like, I don't know. It's like the in between is almost worse than just like, I have like a little sneeze or like the flu.
I know this morning I was like,
you're like,
but I'm on a beautiful cocktail of, we've got some Advil going on. We got some Mucinex going on. We got some caffeine going on. We got tea, we got coffee, we got water, and I am feeling ready to rock. There's also way too much good stuff this week.
There's too much.
I think you know what I think it is? The force of the quality of the sports gossip is bringing, yeah.
It's bringing you to life.
Also, speaking of that, the stuff I have on my face today is doing a lot of heavy lifting, and if you like that, you should check out our gift guide, because we link to a lot of the stuff that's making me look alive in the gift guide.
Yes, and you can view the gift guide on our Substack, which is at sportsgossipshow.substack.com. It is free to see the gift guide. So if you're in the mood to purchase a gift for yourself or for someone you love, we hope you like our gifts. And I will say, our gift guide is unique because it's literally 100% things we use. Like a lot of gift guides, they're like curated, like beautiful gift sets. We're like, no, here's practical compression socks that we use. We love them. Put them in a stocking.
I'm wearing them right now. I have my Comrade compression socks on.
They're the best.
Yeah, I sort of thought about that after we sent it, because I was like, this is just stuff that we use every day. But yes. I was like, should we put in like a fun, like a bathrobe I've been wanting for a while? And then I was like, no, I think there's something very honest about being like, we vouch for this 1,000%.
Totally. And you know what I'm realizing as we're sitting here talking about this? Do you know what our gift guide is? It's an infrastructure gift guide to our lives. Oh, it's God, all things that like are the building blocks to us. It's the pants we always wear, the shorts we always wear, the makeup, the skincare we use all the time that makes us us.
It's true. It's the products that keep us going. We should have put like the granola bar, the emergency frozen meals we buy when we're
honestly, we should have. That would be funny. Maybe we can answer some of those questions in our mailbag. We could like do what are our emergency meals? I'm making that a question. I've submitted it for myself.
Okay, thank you for your service.
And another thing, we would love if you rated and reviewed us on Apple or Spotify or both. It really makes a huge difference. We say this every week, and sorry if it's annoying, but it really, really makes a huge difference. And if you watch us on YouTube, please subscribe to the Sports Gossip Show on YouTube. That also makes a huge difference. So thank you, as always.
And if we're popping up in your Spotify Wrapped as one of your top podcasts, keep tagging us. We love seeing those come in. And tell everybody to listen to our show. Thank you.
Exactly. Just keep spreading the good word of sports gossip.
There you go. We are beyond grateful for our shareholders. And we hope that our show has paid you dividends in fun, information,
fun, gossip, mess, and everything in between.
There you go.
All right, should we get into it?
Well, speaking of gossip and mess, why don't you kick us off? Because we have some exclusive news here on the Sports Gossip Show.
We do. We have an exclusive update in the Lane Kiffin saga. For those who did not listen on Tuesday, go back and listen. But a quick reminder, Lane Kiffin, former head coach at Ole Miss, left to go be the head coach at LSU. It was a lot of drama that went down over this past weekend that truly seems to never end. And something that Charlotte and I talked about on Tuesday was there was a photo of Lane Kiffin. It looks like he's on like a tarmac or like a hangar, like an airplane hangar, with two big wig guys from LSU.
I learned who the other guy is, by the way.
Oh, who are they?
It's the president of LSU. They named a new president because LSU was in such chaos because they didn't have an athletic director. They didn't have a president. We were like, who's the coach going to report to? The governor who's involved himself in this mess? But it's the new president and the athletic director with Lane.
Got it. Okay. So we talked about in this photo that they all are dressed in absurd outfits, and Lane in particular is wearing this really crazy jacket with lots of pockets. None of it is working. And a source has exclusively told us a little behind the scenes information about that outfit in hand, that allegedly 2 state troopers were in his office and he had 10 minutes to pack a bag to leave. So one would then assume that he just kind of had to throw on whatever he had. I mean, his clothes were literally in the street, as we talked about on Tuesday. So that logically adds up to like a strange outfit, which that's what he's wearing.
Yes. Ole Miss, after they fired him, I mean, they didn't fire him. They were trying not to fire. After he took the LSU job, Ole Miss stationed 2 state troopers in his office and gave him 10 minutes to get out of there. So I can imagine he was probably looking at his, like, whatever clothes he has in his office, being like, what's the closest thing to purple that I have in here? I do still have questions about why did he own that jacket in the first place?
Correct. It doesn't address that. That's still a problem here.
However, right. Maybe it was a gift. Who knows? He was just like, well, this works. So yeah, that's an exclusive kind of information you can get from a sports gossip show, folks.
It's the good stuff, baby. But there is still so much other drama that has happened since Tuesday that we need to get into. I feel like we need to start with the dog update.
Okay, I've looked into this dog stuff because a bunch of people were saying that Lane Kiffin left his dog Juice in Mississippi, didn't take him on the plane. And I was like, what's the deal here? Apparently, Lane Kiffin got this dog in 2022. It's a British retriever, I believe. It came from Wild Rose Kennels in Mississippi, where, you know, they breed dogs, they train hunting dogs. Lane Kiffin made a whole big deal about this dog when he was at Ole Miss. The dog led the Walk of Champions, which is where the team walks out to go play their little football game every Saturday. They walk through the Grove, which is where the tailgating is. It's a huge deal. There was a Juice cam on Juice Kiffin walking the players out. People made merch of him. Lane brought him a bunch of places. But according to some reports, Juice hadn't lived with Lane for the past 2 years. Juice lived with the kennel, with the breeders. Which, you know, I see a lot of people being like, he didn't even bring his dog. This is what kind of person he is. Yeah, well, clearly, I mean, he paid for it and he legally owns the dog. But I do think that sometimes, like, first of all, this is a common setup. Like Smokey the dog, not to brag, I know all of these mascots personally. When I hung out with Smokey at the University of Tennessee, that he lives with a family and then is like brought to games by handlers. Right. So it's not, but Juice isn't the official mascot of Ole Miss. He's Lane Kiffin's dog, and that's how he's been marketed. So apparently he hasn't been living with him. And so Lane didn't take him. He just left Juice with Wild Rose Kennels, which I think is good for the dog. I don't think the dog should be with Lane if he's this chaotic and he's this busy. A dog needs a lot of attention and love. And the Wild Rose Kennels has been posting photos of Juice going duck hunting. So I think he seems to be doing well.
I think Juice is probably better off with those handlers for sure. And he should not be going to Baton Rouge with Lane. Lane just has too much mess going on. But it is weird that it was almost like false advertising. You're like, what is the situation with this dog? You say this is your dog, but then you're like, I don't know, renting the dog like during your time as head coach at Ole Miss. Like, it's just kind of strange. It's a strange situation, but I do think it's better for everyone, especially the dog, to stay in Oxford.
Yeah. I think, you know, what do we talk about more than anything on this show is PR. And I think that this is another, I think the best PR is a blend of, obviously you're spinning a story, but it's still sort of true, and not to overuse the word authentic, but like, it's who you are. I think Lane Kiffin has tried to become a master of the veneer rather than like the true story that you spin to your benefit. And he's like, yeah, I love this dog. This is my family dog. And then everyone's like, well, then the dog is usually one thing you take. Like, I get not being able to get your clothes that are on the curb. But the Mississippi has been having a field day with all of this because the Mississippi Department of Public Safety put out a video of Commissioner Sean Tyndall. He comes out of an elevator. And I think we talked about this on Tuesday, that Lane Kiffin said that fans had tried to run him off the road on his way to the tarmac, like tried to shove his car off the road. Sean Tyndall comes out of an elevator, the Commissioner of Public Safety in Mississippi, with a dog, a golden retriever on a leash. And he's wearing, the commissioner's wearing a visor. And he says Lane Kiffin wasn't run out of town. We have our state troopers have no evidence of this. And at the end, he hands the dog to someone else, takes off the visor and goes, "This isn't even my dog."
Oh, they're mad. They are mad. Wow. Well, it feels like very mad. Every community in Mississippi is mad. One community that we talked about a little bit on Tuesday was the hot yoga community in Oxford, Mississippi. As a reminder, Lane Kiffin does a lot of hot yoga and was posing oftentimes at this one studio. I believe it's called 432 in Oxford. He was a frequent participant in these classes. Now, what's been interesting since this news broke that he was going to LSU, there have been a lot of TikToks from mostly women who allegedly took classes with Lane at Oxford. And if you read through the comments, it's a lot of people complaining about his behavior in the classes, like wanting to change the music. I think he dumped water on himself, another user said. No one seemed happy to have Lane in their hot yoga class.
I saw one where it was he would randomly do jumping jacks in the middle of it, which is deeply obnoxious.
Right. Yes. It's very strange. And here's where things get odd, at least. I don't know. Maybe I have a little bit of not a conspiracy, but a thought that maybe will turn into a conspiracy theory. Okay, so I got tagged in a million of these on my own personal accounts. Sports Gossip Show got tagged in a lot of these TikToks talking about Lane doing hot yoga. Of course, I did my due diligence and reached out to a bunch of the people who had commented on these TikToks claiming to have taken hot yoga classes with Lane. I reached out to studios. I reached out to instructors. I probably sent, I don't know, a dozen or so messages on TikTok and Instagram. I have not gotten a single response. And typically, I'm not saying I'm Taylor Swift, but I usually, if I'm reaching out about something for whether it's my Substack, this show, I'll get one response out of a dozen. I have not gotten a single response. So my brain goes to, did the studios put out a gag order? They're don't talk about Lane in the hot yoga classes with anybody, but then they're still commenting on the TikToks publicly. So I don't know what's going on here.
I don't either. It doesn't make any sense because these are people who are ostensibly very mad, and people who are angry generally want to talk about it. People who are, and they're talking about it. It's strange that they wouldn't reply. I kind of wonder, because is the studio itself commenting on it, or is it mostly instructors talking about this?
It looks like it's a mix of instructors and people who took classes just as students. So I have not seen the studio. I have not seen them comment, but I did reach out to the studio also and did not hear back.
So here's the most benign version of this is the studio is we don't comment on clients. We don't want people to be afraid that they come here and then we'll talk trash about them. There is what's going on? What relationship does Lane have with the studio or with the owners of the studio? What does he have any sway there that we don't know about? Even though he's left, I don't know. Just it goes all the way to the top, and you've just got to follow the money.
I mean, listen, he was a coach there for 6 years, right? So he was there for 6 years. I believe for a lot of it, he was taking various hot yoga classes. So maybe it's his friends and he's and because they're friends, he's I don't want to put them on blast. But then it's still funny that the people who just took the classes, not the instructors who are replying about oh yeah, I took a class with him and X, Y, and Z happened. They're not responding, which I'm are my messages going to spam now? What's going on?
I don't know. It also Another thing that has come out of this whole thing is a lot of students, a lot of people, women in Oxford, Mississippi, saying that Lane Kiffin, showing the screenshots of him sliding into their DMs. And there are two reasons that I think these are real. Obviously, the disclaimer, anything can be Photoshopped these days. However, the cadence, the way that he talks, he uses the weirdest abbreviations. Multiple times he wrote WRU, which, judging by the people's answers, means where are you?
Oh,
Which I've never heard. That's not like that's not like IMO.
No.
That's not like LOL. It's like WRU. Is that a radio station? Like, what are you doing, Lane? But it's also he asks them about their boyfriends. He's like, I haven't seen you in a while. It's like very weird. And I know that he has a history of doing this. I also know people in sports media whom he has done this to. So I do not think I don't think this is a smear campaign. I think this is like, he's not our coach anymore, so let's put this creepy guy on blast.
Yeah. Which, you know what? Fair enough. Like, put him on blast. Whether they're true or not, obviously we don't know. But it is weird to have that many messages, like, especially because same cadence. Yeah, it's not normal. And then the other thing too, it's like, in addition to yoga people being mad and annoyed at him, but happy he's leaving, allegedly these women getting these messages from him, his own people that he coached are now coming out publicly on Twitter. I mean, it feels like they're complaining about him being the coach. One player, Bryson Sanders, plays for Ole Miss, and he was responding to Lane's statement where he was announcing that he was leaving. And he said, quote, despite the team asking me to keep coaching, which was something that Lane said in his statement, he then said, I think everyone that was in that room would disagree. And the room being the room where he held a team meeting to announce that he was leaving. And then
meaning everyone in the room would disagree, like wanted him to keep coaching him?
Yes, said that not
throughout
everyone
the end of the season.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And then another player, Suntarine Perkins, said, quote, that was not the message you said in the meeting. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this. So whatever happened in that meeting, I don't think it's what's being presented via Lane's statement. Wow. So it's like now his own former players are like coming out of the woodwork to complain about him. And I feel like it won't be the end of it.
No, because I think part of what is kind of fascinating about this and doesn't feel good about it is, if you're a beloved coach, and you are going to leave the team that is doing really, really what, like, you wouldn't do that. Do you know what I mean? I find it very hard to believe that a coach who is so dedicated and genuine that their players see that every day and love playing for them. I don't feel like that truth and then the truth of leaving when you're 11-1 and made the college football playoff for the first time mesh.
No, it definitely doesn't mesh. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's like you either have that integrity and you lead with that integrity and you stay. I mean, look, I get it. It's a lot of money. It's LSU. But as we talked about, like, why not stay and try to win a national championship rather than take an LSU team that is worse than the Ole Miss team and then start again? It's like, it's not all adding up in terms of like the intention behind it, I guess.
No, it's definitely not. No.
So, I mean, I said this Tuesday and I'll say it again. Like, I'm sorry to Ole Miss, but this is tremendous content.
Oh, it's incredible content. And if anyone else has any more information about his departure from Ole Miss, hot yoga gate, messages, you can send them to info@sportsgossipshow.com, DM us on Instagram @sportsgossip, or TikTok @sportsgossipshow, because I feel like there's more to this story that we will be discussing in the future.
Madeline, I think that we have only scratched the surface.
I know.
I think Lane Kiffin opened up a real PR can of worms with this move.
For sure.
So I think that we will keep reaping the benefits.
Yeah. Anyways,
another PR can of worms. This I couldn't believe. When we were putting this doc together, and I saw, I was like, "What?"
I know.
The Clippers, the LA Clippers NBA team, sent star player Chris Paul in his 20-something year in the league. I think 1920. I think 20th. Because he was drafted in 2005, so that would Makes sense. He signed a 1-year deal with the Clippers to finish his career there. He played there from 2011 to 2017. Was beloved there. He's I think the assist leader and franchise leader in total assists and steals per game. Like, he was beloved. And the Clippers, you might remember, Pablo Torre, if Pablo Torre finds out, reported about the scandal going on with the shell company or company that went bankrupt, that then it came out that were they paying Kawhi were the Clippers paying him through a company, blah, blah, blah. Go check out those episodes he's done. The Clippers, who could probably use like not being in the news for a bad reason again.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Chris Paul posted at 3 a.m. on his Instagram story, "Just found out I'm being sent home," with a peace sign. Shortly afterwards, Clippers president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, texted a statement to ESPN confirming that Chris Paul is no longer on the team. He said, "We are parting ways with Chris, and he will no longer be with the team. We will work with him on the next step of his career." Went on to say that he's a legendary Clipper. No one's blaming him for underperformance because the Clippers have lost 14 of their last 16 games. Bradley Beal, one of their star players, is out for the season with an injury. Things aren't going well. What on God's green earth is going on? You send a guy who's beloved by players and like the media really likes him. You send him home at 3 a.m.?
It's crazy. And this also comes just 6 hours after he posted a reel in feed where he's essentially romanticizing his time on the Clippers with a Fleetwood Mac song, I believe. And he posted that on his Instagram story. He like reshared it to his story. And then his next post is that blacked out screen with the text announcing that he's been sent home with the peace sign. Yeah, it is crazy behavior. I mean, what do we say more than anything on the show besides compressed flowers is that companies are not your friend. They're not your friend.
Your company is not your friend.
It's not your friend.
They don't care about you. Sorry.
No, sorry. It's you're still doing a job. And if they don't like the job you're doing, or if you're clashing with leadership, which we'll get to in a second, like, unfortunately, you're going to be let go. That's just, doesn't matter what accolades you've brought to the team. Doesn't matter how much other coworkers like you, or I guess what would fans be in this analogy? People who follow your company Instagram,
shareholders.
Like, it's unfortunately not enough sometimes. I don't know what to tell you, babe.
I know. And I think what's so fascinating to me when companies do stuff like this is I'm like, are you stupid? Like, do you not see how that, like, even if you don't want this guy around, who knows what happened? Look, worst case, Chris Paul did something that he deserved to be let go. I find that hard to believe because he posting, "Just found out I'm being sent home," with a peace sign. If you've done something really bad, you're probably not. That's just a terrible PR decision.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul's a really smart guy. So if it then comes down to personal stuff or clashes within the organization, there are so many better ways. Like, just, you're sending him home at 3 a.m. This is like trading Luka Doncic at 12:30 at night to the Lakers from the Mavs. It's just like a terrible, if nothing else, PR decision.
Terrible PR move. I will say that sources did tell ESPN that allegedly Chris Paul and his leadership style clashed with the Clippers. Apparently, he had been vocal in holding management, coaches, and players accountable, which the team felt was, quote, disruptive. Oh. And even more specifically, Ty Lue, their head coach, they were not on speaking terms for several weeks. So not great, but even still, it's like, you got to think about the optics, especially for your fan base. I mean, thinking about, to your point, like the Luka Doncic trade, how it's perceived, even if Nico Harrison was like, this was the right move for the organization. It's like, think about how this is going to be perceived. Isn't this Chris Paul's retirement send-off year? Like, he had already announced he was going to retire at the end of the season. So what? Now he's going to play for some random team for like the last half of the season or something?
The worst part of all this is that Chris Paul wanted to be with the Clippers to be close to his family.
Yeah.
In LA. So what? Are the Lakers going to pick him up? The Lakers don't need Chris Paul. They don't need someone who does what Chris Paul does. He and LeBron are good friends. Maybe LeBron would be like, you know, hey,
come on
Rob
over.
Pelinka, help Chris out. Sign him for like no money. I don't know. It's just like, it is such a bummer. It makes me very sad for Chris in terms of like how he's not going to be able to finish on his terms when he was going to be able to finish on his terms after such a long career, which most people don't get to do. It's also, though, like, the Clippers are in crisis, and also they've not learned from their past mistakes, because in 2024, Russell Westbrook picked up his player option because he wanted to stay at his hometown, and then they traded him away. In 2017, the Clippers tried to get Blake Griffin to stay during free agency. They put together a pitch that included T-shirts. Staffers were wearing T-shirts in which Blake Griffin was on a T-shirt, an illustration of him with Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and Abe Lincoln. They were like, Blake, you belong in this company. And then that same season, they traded him to Detroit.
Oh my God. That is wild.
Like, how do you screw up that? How do you do the same thing? It's like, it blows my mind.
It's idiotic. It's unfortunately, I guess, not surprising given their track record, but it is. Again, I'm no publicist, but what were they thinking? Like, just keep him around. I mean, sometimes you have like a disgruntled employee. Like, let's say it's true that he really was not getting along with management, his coach, blah, 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 blah. Still, just keep him around. He's already said he's retiring anyways. It's like, just like the guy who's about to retire at a job and he's like maybe a little disgruntled. He's been there too long, but you're like, whatever. That's Joe. It's fine. Yeah. He's retiring next spring. Like, let him just play out his career. He'll barely play. Who cares?
Also, he agreed to come off the bench for the Clippers instead of starting.
Right.
Look, there is a world in which we look very foolish if something comes out that this makes sense. And we're like, oh, okay.
Sure.
I get it. Chris Paul had to go. That seems unlikely given what we know right now. Also, it's just like, worst case for the Clippers, Chris Paul had standards and was trying to hold other people to them, and he was annoying them. And they were like,
yes,
we're not trying to be better. I know you want us to be better, but it's actually inconvenient for us that you are trying to hold us to any standard. And I think that I'm, speaking for a friend, I think there are two people on this podcast who can understand why someone might be frustrated when you're trying to get a standard going. I don't know.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I get it. And of course, if something comes out that points to a real reason he needed to go, of course, fine. But based on the information we have right now, it feels like a strange decision on the Clippers' part, considering everything else that's been going on in their world and in their own news cycle as of late.
It's so crazy. We honestly, Wilder Hill Media Incorporated, we could, if you're a sports team and you're thinking, should we do this dumb decision or not? Give us a call. We'll pay us a lot of money to tell you to do the right thing. But also,
yes,
I'm realizing that might be in conflict with our show because the mess is what we crave. So never mind.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Don't give us a call. Don't give us a call.
Or call us and pay us and we'll tell you to do the worst possible thing, but it'll be great for our show.
Good for the show. Well, in other messy basketball news, there have been some updates on the WNBA side with their collective bargaining agreement and where things have been netting out so far. So the latest update here is that the WNBA has proposed cutting team housing in addition to an earlier start date, according to multiple sources. The start date for training camp could potentially be as early as mid-March, sources indicated, which, that definitely has some serious implications. So that is crazy. And the deal deadline has been extended now to January 9th, which is pushed back from November 30th or whatever it was before.
Yeah. So this, it's another example of just management being so tone deaf, because look, cutting team housing came with a proposal where the average salary would be 7 figures in the millions. I think the Supermax would be $5 million though, which compared to the NBA is still, and look, I know revenue streams don't come from me, whatever. The average salary I think would be or the starting salary would be $500,000 in this proposal, which is, the starting salary now is $76,000. So that is better. But they're also saying, we'll give you $500,000, but we're not going to pay for your housing anymore, which in these big markets, if you have a family, like housing is a lot of money. Like that's not a small amount of money. So you're effectively then saying, actually, it's going to be $425,000 if you're spending $75,000 on housing, which it could be more than that. Also, pushing the start date back to March is crazy because the draft happens after the NCAA season is over. So all the players get drafted in April, and then you have training camp, and then they're able to play in the start of the year. So what are you going to do there? Are players going to have to leave early and not play in their final NCAA March Madness tournament? Or are you going to just bring them in mid-season without a complete roster to start? Like, I have no idea how this works.
No. It's, I don't know. All signs point to this is just chaotic, and someone's not going to be happy somewhere. And I fear that this deadline extension to the 9th is going to be pushed back again, which is just going to eat more into getting closer and closer to training camp.
Yeah. So. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It really does seem like the WNBA and then the WNBA Players Association are so far apart that you're like, as you said, it's a negotiation. Like people give and take. It just has felt this entire time like the WNBA is not giving on the things that could make this easier and like form a good partnership with their players. And now there are all these other leagues. You have Unrivaled. Project B is this new league that has sprung up where at least 7 all-stars, I think, or at least very, very good players in the WNBA. Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, Sophie Cunningham just announced she would play in Project B, which is like across continents. I don't know. WNBA might need to realize maybe they're not the only game in town.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, companies are insane.
Ugh, it's so messy. Oh, well, in more positive news.
Yeah.
We got to talk about your New England Patriots again.
Yeah.
Seems like the vibes are looking even better. We talked about this on Tuesday, but we were saying how the vibes with the Patriots are just up, up, and up. We talked about Drake May's wife and her baking advent calendar she's been doing on TikTok. But you put in here that the Patriots WAGs seem to really get along. So what's going on there?
I sent you that TikTok, right? It was a TikTok of it was like, I'm passing the phone to someone who, like if we were doing, I would say, I'm passing the phone to someone who just got the chicest bob in town. And then you would pop up on the phone and be like, whatever. It's like say their name without saying their name in a nice way. And the WAGs of the Patriots were doing this together, and they had so many inside jokes and they looked so happy. We talked about Drake May's wife, Anne, on Tuesday, and how all the comments on her baking posts are so wholesome. And and at the time you had said like that energy trickles down to the WAGs. And I think now we have evidence that that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it seems like they're all very tight-knit and close, which to me indicates that the players, I just think like if the WAGs are happy, the players are happy, they're playing well. Their coach seems like a great leader. He's your bestie, obviously, Mr. Mike Vrabel. That it just seems like good vibes all around. And as we've said, vibes can help inform so much of what's happening on the field and help predict what's going to happen. And again, there's still a lot of season left. But as I said before, Charlotte, and I think I could say it again, I don't know, signs are leading towards they may advance so far in the playoffs that they may make it to the Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to keep saying that. You don't need to say it. I'll say it on your behalf.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm like a Bills fan, so.
It's like when the NBA Finals trophy came to my apartment when we were recording, and my Knicks fan husband refused to touch it.
Yes.
He wouldn't even take a picture with it. Anyway,
no.
I get flustered talking about the Patriots this year. I love them so much. I reached out to somebody very close to the Patriots, and I was like, can you just tell, like, is Mike Vrabel actually as beloved as he seems, or as like people make it out to be on TV in these interviews or hyping it up? And this person was like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Everyone in that building loves Mike Vrabel. And it reminds me of the time that I interviewed him and talked to him when the Titans went to the AFC Championship. I followed that playoff run, and I went back and looked at the article I wrote for Sports Illustrated, and Mike Vrabel was so nice and like talked to me on the phone for a long time before the games, like answering my questions. And now that because I hadn't been following the Titans, I sort of parachuted in. And now that I know that he goes out of his way to like support women in sports media, I'm like, was he doing me a solid? That's like, and he just said he said some funny stuff about how like dad bods are in. I don't know. The vibes thing is so real.
It's so real. Takeaway. No, yeah, it's so real. It says more about what's happening than often the player stats, as we say. So
totally,
vibes are looking good for your Patriots.
Thank you. Speaking of Patriots, so Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft. Bill Belichick, former head coach of the Patriots, current head coach of UNC. So when we talk, we actually do have a Jordon Hudson update.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that after this. We'll get to it.
No rest for the weary.
No.
Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, are both finalists for the 2026 class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, there are only so many finalists, which are like people who are voted on, you know, who are definitely on the ballot. They still have to be voted in. Bob Kraft is on the ballot as a contributor, and the Basketball Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame have these categories called contributors, where it's someone who has made an impact on the game who is not a player or a coach. And apparently Bob Kraft, his PR guy, has been campaigning for him to be in the contributor category in the Hall of Fame for 14 years now. And he finally is there the same year that Bill is eligible to be on it. And these two people who hate each other at this point, by all accounts, could be, if they're both voted in, I think it's more likely that Bill gets voted in, honestly, than Kraft does. But they could be standing up there, accepting their statues in gold jackets together.
Oh, nothing would bring me greater joy than to see them standing up there together like two exes who run into each other at a function, and they have to fake smile and pose for a group photo. Nothing would bring me more joy than to see that. And what I would hope is that they do chat with each other. And you know that woman on TikTok who lip reads?
Yes.
And that she does a lip reading video. That is my wish for this outcome.
Oh my God. And it's like, hey, you beep, really great to beep, and see you beep.
100%. That's the only option here. I can't imagine it would be handled any other way.
No, I don't think so. I think Bill wouldn't even talk to Bob Kraft. No. He banned Patriot scouts from UNC for crying out loud.
Right. But you know that the people who do production for the award ceremony or whatever would 100% make them and be like, and Bob, can you stand next to Bill? You know, like they would move them, and then there'd be like drama where they couldn't like confront this person who works in production and be like, well, I don't want to stay next to him, because that would just be a bigger news story. So they just have to do it and like just yes and be like, sure, would love to. Nothing would bring me greater joy.
It's so good. Anybody like sports? I've said this for as long as I've been covering sports. They're the original reality show. This is better than any Bravo storyline, really, because like it isn't produced for stuff like this. Producers aren't. I mean, maybe someone's masterminding this somewhere, but like this is just happening.
No, it's just happening. Yeah.
Two older gentlemen who hate each other might have to accept the award of a lifetime.
Oh, nothing would bring me greater joy. Nothing would bring me greater joy.
We would have to go.
Oh, I fear we would. Yeah.
We would have to go to Canton, Ohio in August.
Great. We'll go to Cleveland. We'll go to see some industry.
True. Oh, I bet there's a Frank Lloyd Wright house near Canton.
If anyone knows, drop it below.
We've said that publicly, right? That like we want to base our trips around Frank Lloyd Wright houses?
Yes. It's a key piece of our travels across America and the world.
And the world.
Yes.
Tokyo, if you're listening.
And there's a famous, I believe it's a monastery that Frank Lloyd Wright designed in Kyoto that I visited when I lived there in middle school. I think it's a monastery.
Yes. Cool.
My mom, if you're listening, or stepdad, if you're listening, correct the record.
Is there a Frank Lloyd Wright house in San Francisco?
I'm sure there is.
There has to be.
We got to go. Super Bowl. Now we're cooking.
Someone left a really nice comment on wherever you can leave a comment and was like, I can't remember. I'm powering down.
Charlotte's powering. We're going to wrap it up soon. Charlotte's powering down. Charlotte's powering down. Okay, just a quick thing. I'm going to tee this one up, and then we're just going to. I'll wrap it up.
Take us home.
So Jordon Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, appears to have submitted a Freedom of Information request for University of North Carolina's public records. She allegedly is looking for correspondence received or sent by someone who works for CBS News. Correspondence to or from email addresses with an @CBS News domain, anything that references CBS or 60 Minutes, from the senior associate athletic director at UNC. So like communications from that person in regards to, famously, as you all know, Bill Belichick's interview on CBS News, where Jordon famously interrupted back in April or May of this year. So I don't know what she's cooking, but she's trying to cook up something.
I'm like, we found things on her Facebook when we were first talking about her where like she's dabbling in conspiracy theories. She had stuff about Anthony Fauci during COVID that we were like, okay. She's like she wants there to be a conspiracy against her, I think.
Right. Yes.
Because why else would you ask for communications between the school and CBS?
I don't know, unless she's trying to send a demand letter. I don't know, to CBS. Who knows? I feel like we will know, and I'm curious if we'll be able to then have access to whatever these communications are, because maybe there are communications about it, and we can read them. Who knows?
Look, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
What if she's right?
What if she's right? That would be a plot twist. All right, just a quick thing we'll end on here. And light positive note, tennis star Venus Williams, sister of Serena Williams, is engaged to Andrea Preti, and she announced it, of course. What platform do you think she announced it on, Charlotte?
Instagram.
It is not a collab post like Bukayo Saka's.
Wouldn't that be funny if you were like LinkedIn?
Honestly, nothing would drive me crazier than seeing two people announce their engagement, unless they like met via LinkedIn DM or something, which that is like depressing.
It's like two tech people in San Francisco who are like, internet connectivity brought us together, but our connectivity kept it. Ugh.
Oh, no. But what I love about this, she, of course, posted a carousel of images. They look like a photo shoot, which I love. And they even included an image with their dog. 10 out of 10. And the biggest thing here, yet again, no compressed flowers in sight. Not even a flower in sight. There's some foliage, but no flower.
Wow. I'm trying to click on it.
Just believe me.
Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh. Is he wearing like a leopard print shirt?
It looks like it. It looks like it.
They appear to be in a tropical locale.
I feel like it has to be Florida. I think they live in Florida.
You're right, Miami.
Yeah.
Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child fame and her own fame commented, screaming congratulations in all caps. I am so happy for you.
That's sweet.
God. Flavor Flav, wow, congratulations to my girl. The comments here are absolutely...
Coco Gauff commented, tennis player. Yes. So congratulations to them. Lovely engagement photos. I can't wait to see the wedding photos. We will see if they have compressed flowers at their wedding. We will see.
Do you think, I'm a little concerned that athletes haven't been getting engaged with compressed flowers?
Well, maybe they're listening. Uh-oh.
Okay. Uh-oh. I know that we set out on a crusade to let the flowers breathe, but we are nothing if we don't have compressed flowers to review. So we need to keep doing it.
People will always do them. They will never stop, I promise you. The compression will continue until the end of time.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's our show. To everyone who is watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. If you are listening, thank you for listening. And as a reminder, please rate and review, like, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip and TikTok at Sports Gossip Show. And you can subscribe to our Substack at sportsgossipshow.substack.com. And if you become a paying subscriber, you get access to our lovely game chats we've been doing for Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, and Sunday Night Football. They've been very fun. So if you're into that, go check that out.
And I think, methinks, we'll start doing some for some big NBA games. We'll, maybe we'll put a chat up for the episode. We talked about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
I'm writing checks right now that my butt can't I'm so tired. I think we gotta hang up.
Charlotte needs to lay down. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.